All right, so we're going to look at tuning up this image. So the first thing I want to do is just adjust the focal length. So I mentioned this in an earlier video, but I don't think I've talked about it too much in class. Lower focal lengths make wider fields of view, which make the scene feel larger and more immersive. But they also have a lot more distortion in them. On the other hand, go a long focal length, 300, that flattens the scene out and makes it more observational. So what I mean by flattening out the scene here, I have this example by Andreas Feininger, probably saying his name wrong, of New York City, and this is shot with a telephoto lens, a long focal length, and it compresses the space. It makes these people feel like they're right on top of each other. Now for us, that can be nice because we have all this structure, right? This grid, we place things on a grid, we're using consistent spaces and consistent intervals, and we can reinforce that kind of structure and with our focal length, right? So I've chosen 300, and let's see what we got here. Once I get into kind of tuning mode, I start not rendering over here anymore. I start to go to the Arnold render view because it gives me a few more options. And I can actually really see what I'm getting. So first I'm going to take my view, test resolution, maybe even just 25% for now. Keep things quick. It's tricky to get the edge of these things sometimes. Okay. There we go. All right, so we got grainy image, but I'm just kind of looking at the composition here. I don't like how this isn't parallel to the edge. It's like just off, which kind of breaks a guiding principle. These angles are a little bit off too, so let's fix those next. So we have the focal length, and then we also have, if you're being kind of particular, you can achieve a tilt shift effect. So in architectural photography, go back over here for a second, you can use a tilt shift lens to compensate for convergence in your scene. And basically, a little tilt shift lens here. What a tilt shift lens does is it shifts the projection of the film image so that you can kind of compensate for perspective and achieve interesting depth of field effects. They're pretty neat. And what's amazing about Arnold is you have access to some of those tools, some of those capabilities. So I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to look at my light here. And it is negative 13.5 degrees down. So I'm going to copy that number. Go to the attribute editor. In the Arnold tab, there's all these different parameters that we'll look at as time goes on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in my tilt angle here, watch. If I make it like that, see? I'm creating some distortion, right? If I put in the opposite, the negative of the angle that I'm tilting down on my camera, it's going to even out any perspective shifts. So what's going to happen is parallel lines on the vertical are going to be parallel to the side of the frame. And it's a subtle thing, but I think it looks better. The other thing I'm going to do while I'm at it is just to kind of fix this line up a little bit. So let's see here. This. Just have it help me line things up a little bit. So when you select something and you see it kind of light up in yellow, that means that soft selection is turned on. See? We'll get to that at some point. I think I was taking some screenshots for someone's to answer an email, and I left that turned on. So now it's back to blue. Because when soft selection was on, my whole triangle was moving, which is not what I want.